All right, this will be the last section of instructional new information for Chapter 8. I will be putting together another video on balancing half reactions and also going over oxidation and reduction examples to help you out. So first of all, in this section, we're talking about oxidizing and reducing agents. These are just examples that you should memorize. Again, I repeat, memorize. You don't need to know what their uses are, just that they are oxidizing or reducing agents. So the first things we're going to cover are oxidizing agents. So one of the main oxidizing agents is oxygen. You can see some of the uses used in campfires, gas in our vehicles. It gives us energy from food to move and think. Oxygen can cause corrosion, aids in food spoilage, and it also aids in wood decay. And so you can see that that is why it's a good common oxidizing agent. Another oxidizing agent is ozone. This is O3. Ozone is harmed by our pollution in our air. Another common one is hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2. This is used as an antiseptic, which just means it kills bacteria. Another thing you can use instead of saying antiseptic is you can say disinfectant. So if you see either in your book or on the test, you'll know that antiseptic and disinfectant just means that you're killing bacteria. Hydrogen peroxide is also used to bleach hair. Sometimes it's in teeth whiteners. Taxidermists use it to whiten the antlers and the teeth and the bones of different animals. Okay. Another common oxidizing agent is dichromate. That's a polyatomic ion. This is used in breathalyzer tests. Chlorine, which is used in swimming pools and again as a disinfectant. And the last one you should know is bleach, which has the formula of NaOCl. And bleach just removes unwanted color from fabric. It can also be used to disinfect clothes as well, like you put it in your washing machine to help with that. Okay, so those are 6 oxidizing agents you should know. So on questions on your review worksheet, if it says, what's a common oxidizing agent or what's a common reducing agent, and it doesn't give you anything, it just gives you a list, that's where this is coming from. This is coming from one of the ones you're going to memorize. Okay, common reducing agents. These are going to be carbon, metal, and hydrogen. And down below, these just show them in a reaction. But you just need to remember to memorize carbon, metal, and hydrogen. So right here, you can see the carbon. Carbon is used to produce pure metal. So in this case, it's being used to produce the SN. Also, hydrogen can be used to take oxygen from metal oxides. That's down here. So this is hydrogen taking oxygen from metal oxides to form tungsten. And then the last one is metals. So for example, some metals are more reactive than other metals, and so in this case the aluminum is switching places with the chromium, and when that happens you get chromium on the product side by itself. So you can see that these are again very common reducing agents: the carbon, different metals, and hydrogen, and they are all helping to form metals on the product side. So again, just remember carbon, metal, hydrogen. Those are 3 common reducing agents. Okay, another common one is just the developer that's used in photography when you are developing your film. And that is it for reducing agents. So just those 4: carbon, metal, hydrogen, and the developer when you are producing the film, the pictures from your film. Okay, another part of this section talks about living reactions, and we're dealing with photosynthesis and metabolism. And this is just showing you that this is a redox reaction. That's all it's showing you. So let's go ahead and look at this and determine what's oxidized and what's reduced and how they got those examples. So right here, remember we're going to look at the carbon. So since carbon is in the CO2, we're going to look at the sugar on the product side. So let's look at what's happening with our oxygen and our hydrogen. So here our oxygen goes from a 2 to a 6. So that's going to show an increase in oxygen. I'm just going to write it like that, or that we've gained oxygen. And then there's no hydrogen here, but there's hydrogen here. So we've also gained hydrogen. Okay, so if you remember our 3 viewpoints, oxidation is gaining oxygen or losing hydrogen or losing electrons, and reduction is just the opposite. Well, here's a problem, because gaining oxygen is oxidation, but gaining hydrogen is reduction. So there's something wrong here. So when your viewpoints don't match up, this is when you use your ratios. So right here, we're going to, remember, we don't want to use our coefficients. We're going to look at carbon. There's 1 carbon here. For every 1 carbon, there's 2 oxygens. So because we have 1 carbon on this reactant side, we want the same on this product side. So if we divide all of these atoms by 6, we can get the carbon down to a 1. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go 1 to 2 to 1. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. 6 divided by 12 is 2, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. So now if we look at it, we've got 2 oxygens like we did before, but with that ratio, we're only comparing it to 1 oxygen. So 2 to 1 now means that we've actually lost oxygen. So if we lose oxygen and gain hydrogen, this is going to show reduction. So that's going to equal reduction. So carbon dioxide is the substance that is reduced. So we should be able to assume that water is oxidized, but let's go ahead and prove it just because we want to make sure. So here we're going to compare water to the oxygen. So here we have 2 hydrogens on the product side, no hydrogens. So this one, we have lost hydrogen. Our oxygen, we went from 1 on the water to 2 on the product side. So that means that we have gained oxygen. So if we gain oxygen and lose hydrogen, this shows oxidation. So your water is oxidized. Okay, if you want to right now, pause the video and look down below and see if you can figure out why metabolism, why the glucose is oxidized and why the oxygen is reduced. I'll give you a hint. You're going to have to use the ratio again. Okay, for our last part of this chapter, we're going to talk about reactions with oxygen. So there's 3 basic reactions we're going to look at, and each of these you've done before. You've just done them in prior chapters. So the first one is when we have an oxygen with a metal, and what we're going to get is a metal oxide. So here's an example. Here's our oxygen plus a metal. So what that's going to form is a metal oxide. So you're going to put your metal first, and metal oxides, if you think about it, metals are cations. They have a positive charge. Oxygen is a nonmetal, and so it's going to have a negative charge. It's going to be an anion. So you have to look at your charges. So aluminum on the periodic table has a +3 charge. Oxide has a -2. Those don't cancel. This is an ionic bond, so you have to swap and drop. So that 2 is going to come down to the aluminum. The 3 is going to come down behind the oxygen, and when they come down, they drop their charges. So here we're going to get Al2O3. And then if you want to, you can balance it. You don't need to balance these questions unless it says write a balanced chemical equation. Or if it says write a chemical equation. Whenever you see chemical equation or chemical reaction, that also means balanced. So that is what this would be. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say that we have, let's choose potassium. Okay, so here's oxygen, here's our potassium. So we have oxygen plus a metal. We're going to get a metal oxide. The metal goes first, so potassium, there it is. It's in group 1, so it has a +1 charge. Oxide is in group 16, so it's going to have that -2 charge. These don't cancel, these charges, so we're going to swap and drop. So again, the 2 is going to come down behind the potassium, and that 1 is going to come down behind the oxygen. We never show charges, and 1 is redundant, so we never write a 1 like that because it's redundant. The oxygen is already showing that we have 1 there. Okay, so that would be our reaction. O2 plus potassium, and that's going to create potassium oxide. All right, the next one that we're going to look at with oxygen is when we have oxygen and a non-metal. So here we go with our non-metal right here, and this is going to make a non-metal oxide. So on these, because we're both dealing with non-metals, we can't do swap and drop. So on this one, you're just going to smush it together with oxygen being the latter element, or if that doesn't work, it's going to tell you what the product is, and you just need to use your covalent bonding strategies. So right here, it's not telling us what the product is, so we're just going to assume we're going to smush it. So the sulfur is going to come first, and then the oxygen is going to come last, just because it says non-metal oxide. Both of them are non-metals, but the oxide comes last, and then there's two of them, so we're just going to smush it together like that. Okay, let's say that we have another example. Let's say we have oxygen plus, let's say that we have nitrogen. Okay, and then on this one, let's say that when we smush it together, it doesn't quite work, so I'm going to tell you that this is going to make nitrogen trioxide. So in this case, you just need to write this out correctly. So you're going to write O2 plus N2, and then nitrogen is N. Remember, tri means 3, so it's oxygen has 3 on it. So you're going to have nitrogen trioxide there. And I don't know if that balances because I just made that up. So if it doesn't balance, you'll know that it was just not meant to be. Okay, so hopefully that one makes sense. Okay, the last one, you've done this a lot in 1010. This is going to be your combustion reaction. Boom. Okay, so remember with combustion, you always have a hydrocarbon, which is any carbon and hydrogen amounts, plus oxygen, and then you're always going to create CO2 and water. So combustion reaction. Okay, so here's an example. Methane, so it's just giving you the name of this hydrocarbon, reacts with oxygen. Write a balanced equation for the reaction. Okay, so methane, CH4, there's your hydrocarbon, plus oxygen. Remember, oxygen has a 2 because it is a Brinkelhoff. Remember your Brinkelhoffs. Okay, Brinkelhoff, which means that they are diatomic atoms. They have to have 2. Okay, and then your products for combustion are always carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so that would be that equation, and then you would just go ahead and you would balance it. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say instead of having methane right here, let's cross this out. Let's do, for example, let's do propane. So propane's formula is C3H8. So on this one, we're going to do C3H8. In the presence of oxygen, again, oxygen's a Brinkelhoff, and your products are always carbon dioxide and water. Let's go ahead and balance this one, just to remind ourselves. Okay, carbon has 3, over here it has 1, so we're going to put a 3. 8 hydrogens, 2, so 2 times what makes 8? That would be 4. Our amount of oxygens on the reactant side, we have 2. The product side, we have 3 times 2 is 6, plus 4. That's a total of 10. So what times 2 over here makes 10? That is a 5. Okay. All right. Okay, this is just a review practice problem. You might see some of these. These are just knowing how to write equations. They don't necessarily fall into one of the 3 we've talked about with the metal and the non-metal and the combustion. So right here it says, when heated in air, lead 2 sulfide combines with oxygen to form lead 2 oxide and sulfur dioxide. Write a balanced equation for the reaction. Okay, why don't you go ahead and pause the video, try this, and then come back and look to see what we've done. But let's do it together, or check your answer right now. Okay, so lead 2. That 2 means it has a +2 charge. Sulfide has a 2 negative charge. It's in group 16, so that's going to cancel. Combines with means plus. Oxygen is 2 because it's a diatomic Brinkelhoff. It's going to form, which is an arrow, lead 2 oxide. So lead, Roman numeral 2, means a +2 charge. Oxide is a 2 negative. Those are going to cancel. And the sulfur dioxide is a covalent bond because we're dealing with 2 nonmetals. So we're just going to use our prefixes. So SO2. And now we're going to go ahead and balance this. So when we balance this one, we're going to get PB is 1 and 1. Sulfur is 1 and 1. Our oxygen, notice we have 2 and 4.